What's up everyone and welcome back to the MMA Zone. Today, let's get started with Islam Makhachev wants Conor McGregor fight next. Leading up to Islam Makhachev's UFC 302 fight with Dustin Poirier, the champ revealed that he would be willing to accept a fight with Conor McGregor. While first, McGregor would have to get through Michael Chandler later this month, it sounds as though if the stars align, Makhachev is willing to accept the fight. During a Russian-speaking interview with Ushatyka, Makhachev revealed that he would pick a fight with McGregor over a fight with Arman Tsarukyan. However, he doesn't believe that McGregor will actually return to the octagon anytime soon. To be honest, the McGregor fight looks more interesting in terms of media and in all respects. But I don't think he'll ever show up for his next fight. We've all seen that video. Plus, they canceled the press conference, so I don't think he'll be able to make the fight. Even if he does, I think Chandler will win. He's more focused, he's been training hard, he looks more hungry. Despite the fact that Makhachev is fresh off a war with Dustin Poirier, the champ also revealed that he still plans to return to action by the end of the year to defend his title. Given the current landscape of the division, a bout between him and Arman Tsarukyan is likely the fight to make. However, so far, Dana White hasn't shared any information on a potential timeline for the fight. Next up, let's take a look at MMA community calls out Dana White for lying again. Dana White has continued to promote his highly controversial Power Slap League as of late, this time exaggerating the promotion's social media followers during an appearance on comedian Andrew Schultz's Flagrant podcast. While spouting off statistics about Power Slap's success on social media, White claimed that the promotion has more followers than every professional sports team. Despite White not having the numbers at the time, he went so far as to say that Power Slap has more followers than famed football club Real Madrid.
This thing absolutely dominates. We have more followers than every single professional sport. Every professional sports team, we have more followers than them in 15 months.
Wow. More than like Real Madrid or like these soccer teams?
I don't know about the soccer teams, but I would say yes. Yeah. Every sports team, we have more followers.
Soccer.
So I would say yes. Yes.
The MMA community was quick to fact-check White on the stat. On Instagram, Power Slap has 3.9 million followers, while teams like the NBA's Los Angeles Lakers have 24.6 million followers, and the NFL's Kansas City Chiefs have 4.2 million. In the case of Real Madrid, the club has a whopping 162 million followers. As one fan wrote, "Does he think we're stupid?" Another added, "Whoever gives Dana these numbers, they deserve a raise." One fan pointed out that combining Power Slap's followers on various platforms doesn't close the gap between the promotion and Real Madrid, writing, "Doesn't even have 5 million between X, Insta, and Rumble. Real Madrid have 162 million just on Insta." Another member of the MMA community added, "Dana White thinks speaking things into existence is gonna blind people from the fact that Power Slap is quickly fizzling out. Most of the crowd that initially tuned in out of curiosity have tuned out a while ago. His ego can't accept it." As one fan with 51,000 followers joked, "I literally have more followers than Power Slap," another fan questioned the legitimacy of the Power Slap numbers, writing, "I've actually never met anybody that watches that crap. Die-hard UFC fan though." One member of the MMA community did further research, coming to the conclusion that the NBA G League, the WNBA, and Fenerbahce FC all have more followers than Power Slap, writing, "It's genuinely harder to find a pro sports team/league with less followers, LMAO." As another member of the MMA community joked, "It's wild to see Uncle Dana continue with this narrative. Gotta give it to my dude. He's willing to die on the hill like no other." As we've seen in the past, however, despite members of the community fact-checking him, White will likely continue to exaggerate the numbers surrounding Power Slap. While it looks like Dana White responded to the backlash, Joe Pompliano tweeted saying, "Real Madrid has 162 million followers on Instagram compared to Power Slap's 4 million followers." Dana responded by saying, "Meant to say views. Yes, that one up." Joe responded by saying, "Fair enough, thanks for clarifying." To which Dana White responded by saying, "Good call out." Next up, let's take a look at Islam Makhachev is better than Khabib? Given the connection between Islam Makhachev and Khabib Nurmagomedov, it's no secret that the pair have continued to be compared to one another. On the heels of Makhachev's recent win over Dustin Poirier, the MMA community was quick to draw comparisons between how Makhachev performed against Poirier at UFC 302 and how the Eagle performed against Poirier at UFC 242. While Daniel Cormier had previously made the case that Makhachev is more dangerous than Nurmagomedov given his striking abilities, he now believes that there's never been a fighter as dominant as Khabib Nurmagomedov. During a recent episode of Good Guy Bad Guy, Chael Sonnen asked Cormier to revisit the Makhachev-Nurmagomedov comparison, given that it appears as though Makhachev is continuing to improve.
one thing that I think when you look at this comparison, and I mean, just look at this, dude. The dominance. I mean, 8 title fight wins, 28-1 in their UFC careers, 17 finishes. Like that's absurd. I don't know that Khabib. Yeah, he did. He beat Conor. He beat Dustin, and he beat Gaethje. Yeah, he defended 3 times. So, I don't know that it's fair to compare him, especially based on the common opponent, because I believe, Chael, that Dustin Poirier was better because he had the opportunity to fight Khabib Nurmagomedov. He had felt that strength in grappling, a little bit of a recognition of what he would be facing when he got in the octagon. You know, I was one of the people that said early, and I said, I think Islam Makhachev is more dangerous than Khabib because of his striking. But as I reflect on this, as a guy that's been in there with both, like you said, I don't know if we'll ever see anyone as dominant as Khabib. Because think about this, Chael. When did you ever watch a fight? Now, I'm not saying that Islam was losing the fight on Saturday. There were times, though, where it looked competitive. How often did you see Khabib Nurmagomedov not look outwardly dominant? That is where I think you make the difference.
As Cormier also pointed out, part of Nurmagomedov's dominance can be seen in the fact that despite opponents knowing that he was going to use his wrestling, there was very little anyone could do to stop him. Next, let's take a look at Jared Cannonier furious with the MMA community. Ahead of this weekend's UFC Fight Night Louisville card, headliner Jared Cannonier took aim at the MMA community for a lack of credit regarding his 2022 win over Sean Strickland. While speaking in an interview with MMA Junkie, Cannonier spoke about the pair's fight while praising Strickland for evolving as a fighter after the scrap. In addition, he also called out the MMA community for not giving him the credit he deserves for the win.
He's made a big change since he fought me. He's made a mental adjustment when he fought me. He said it himself when he fought me, he fought like that he would never do that again. And he's held to that. So big up to him, respect to him for that. He's made the changes, and he went back to classic Sean Strickland, walking forward and doing his thing. You know, I don't know if it was me or if it was Pajeda that made him, because when he fought Pajeda, he was walking forward. He was marching him down, walking forward, and we saw how that happened. But when he fought me, he wasn't doing that. And people need to take note of that. I'm getting sick and tired of people saying he barely won that fight, but he didn't fight me the way he fights. You know what I mean? So, you know, people need to take note of that. He didn't fight me the way he's been fighting these guys.
While Strickland has made it clear that he only plans on accepting a fight for the title after his recent victory over Paulo Costa, with Cannonier on the cusp of another title shot, the stars could align for a rematch between these two down the line, should one wind up capturing the title. Next, let's take a look at Alexander Volkanovski reveals UFC plan. Following Alexander Volkanovski's loss to Ilia Topuria earlier this year, the former champ indicated that he planned to take some time off to let himself heal up before returning to the octagon after back-to-back knockouts. While it's unclear who Volkanovski will fight when he returns to action, he recently called for a fight with Dustin Poirier in the wake of the Diamond's UFC 302 loss to Islam Makhachev. During a recent interview with ESPN, Volkanovski opened up on the call-out, making it clear that while his next fight at 145 pounds will in fact be for the title, he wants to remain active, and as such, fights with Poirier, Conor McGregor, and Michael Chandler are all on his radar.
Yeah, I made it pretty clear. Like, obviously, my next fight at featherweight will be for the title. It's just the timing. Obviously, I wanted to wait, so I don't know exactly what plans, because I haven't been hounding the UFC. Just sort of been taking it easy. So I don't know if they've got plans. I know for a fact that my next fight is for the title, but whether something happens before that, and if that's the case, does that mean I'm waiting too long? That's where I'm like, well, if that is the case, we don't know if that is the case. All right, maybe a Dustin Poirier would be an incredible fight. Obviously, he's a good dude. We've got a lot of respect for each other. Big name, very, very fun fight. So that's something that's why I just thought, put feelers out. So you never know. I mean, I put a few more feelers out. Conor McGregor, Chandler, whatever. Whoever. Lightweight division looks good, but my next featherweight fight is for the belt.
As Volkanovski also revealed while speaking with media members, while a fight on the UFC 305 card in Perth later this summer is still off the table, he does have his sights set on a return later this year in October or November.
That's what I said. I told myself, I don't think I want to be in. I'll put him in, all right, October, after October, around that time. So the end of the year, November does sound great, but nothing's locked in, but we'll see. Yeah, so definitely.
Given that his most recent fight took place in February, an October or November return would give Volkanovski almost a full year to recover. Next up, let's take a look at John McCarthy criticized on Joe Rogan podcast. While UFC 6 took place way back in 1995, Tank Abbott isn't ready to forgive Big John McCarthy for breaking up a grappling exchange and standing him and his opponent up. During a recent appearance on the Joe Rogan Experience, Abbott and Rogan rewatched footage from UFC 6, discussing the rising popularity of the guillotine choke at the time. As Abbott explained, while there were no rules, McCarthy took it upon himself to stand the fighters up, accusing him of being corrupt.
I would have won that fight if Big John McCarthy wouldn't have stuck his melon in between us and break us up. You know, that's how you were talking about how they fix the fights and everything. He broke this fight up. There were no rules. Not supposed to do. Look, he's breaking us up. Why'd he do that? Yeah, that was all John McCartney. Why did he break us up?
And as
there
far
were
as,
no
look,
rules. All they had to do was give him a track starting gun, and he could stand there and go boom, and that's all he needed to do.
Big John McCarthy.
Yes, he's corrupt, and his idea of what he thinks fighting is. And he's a full-on Oleg submission guy because he's all into technique. I don't know this. He's never said it to me. But he's all into skill and everything else. He has no respect for fighters' fortitude.
Since the situation sparked some heated debates among the MMA community, Sean Strickland offered a hilarious account of a time he met Tank Abbott when he was just 10 years old, writing, "First time I met Tank, I was about 10 or so at a bar in Huntington Beach called JD's Landing. I tried to fight him. Then he ended up giving me a bunch of fireworks. True story." So far, no response yet from McCarthy on the matter. Now, let's shift gears and take a look at Jorge Masvidal and Nate Diaz go back and forth. Ahead of the rescheduled July 6th date for the Nate Diaz vs. Jorge Masvidal boxing match, the pair appeared on stage together this week to promote their fight. The pre-fight press conference provided a number of viral moments from both Diaz and Masvidal as the two took turns exchanging bars ahead of the scrap. At one point, Diaz took aim at his longtime rival, making it clear that their past BMF fight inside the octagon has no bearing on this fight, and if Masvidal doesn't knock him out, then he's in for a long night.
Better hope you get the knockout. It don't got nothing to do with it. It's a whole nother sport. He better get his knockout. If not, he's getting f***ed up.
At another point in the press conference, the pair went back and forth after Masvidal dissed jiu-jitsu.
When it comes down to it, I think I got the best hands in the UFC, anybody in the UFC to come out of it. And July 6th, I get to prove that with no questions, no nothing, you know. We're going to find out there's none of that jiu-jitsu there's none of that hugging just straight hands, and what better way to find out who's got the better hands?
Jiu-jitsu. Aren't you a martial artist, motherfucker? The jiu-jitsu
this ain't no jiu-jitsu.
Fucking boxing. Who finished me on a ever? Anyway.
I don't give a fuck about who finished you now or if you finish yourself.
Funeral. Shut the
so you're going to he just found out right now it was directed towards him 10 minutes later.
Been talking from
jiu-jitsu, bro.
Nate, do you respect the boxing ability that Jorge Masvidal's bringing to the ring?
Choke you.
Yeah, too bad you can't do that in boxing, but you had 15 minutes to do it in MMA, and all you did was get saved by a referee, so don't talk about choking me, because you never out-grappled me in your life, and never could you. After this boxing match, we could run in grappling, I'll slam you on your neck. Crazy if you could ever beat me.
We'll see what happens. Hope to live, right. Mother.
I'll be there, just show up, man.
In typical Nate Diaz fashion, however, the press conference ended abruptly after he decided to walk out. Despite that, the pair and their teams both went at it afterwards in a massive brawl, further adding to the animosity and hype ahead of the long-awaited rematch. With fight night just over a month away, it'll be interesting to see how things play out. The MMA community is roasting Nina Mary Danielle after she allegedly replied to a tweet from a fan, talking about herself and Helen Yee. Fans are speculating that she forgot to switch accounts to her burner account. In the tweet, she said, "LOL, you think Helen is more entertaining than Nina? Why is it that Nina is the one who got hired by the UFC and the one being pushed by them then? Helen had her chance for years and never capitalized. The fans chose Nina." Fans roasted Nina after one fan had a screenshot of the tweet and it spread quickly. Here's what the MMA community had to say. "Get her talentless ass out of here. Preaches woman positivity but gives a platform to someone who ishes on women and ishes on Helen on a burner account. That girl is so desperate for clout." Nina is the KD of MMA, it appears. Industry plant brags about being hired, Yikes, I can't believe some of these influencers really spend time defending themselves on burner accounts. How sad. All she does is post about herself, and she uses burners to fight people in the comments. Here's her for forgetting to switch to said burner. Damn, you have alt accounts to talk ish about a fellow coworker? What a despicable human being. You're shameless and soul selling. Never really cared about Nina, kinda thought she a bit annoying but is there to lighten the mood for the UFC. Now I see why everyone dislikes her, LMAO.
Guys, I hate to be the bearer of bad news for those of you who really don't like me, but this is photoshopped. It's photoshopped. I never wrote this. I never made this tweet. I have no beef with Helen. All you have to do is literally zoom in. Look at this. Look. It's photoshopped. The whole thing is photoshopped. Whoever did this took a lot of time and effort because they knew what they were doing. So honestly, yourself. But this whole image, look, you can just look at it and tell. See how it curves? See how it's not clean? Look at this. Guys, come on. I know you want to hate me. I might be a lot of things. I might be annoying as f. I might be cringy as fuck. You might never want to hear my voice again. I totally understand. One thing I am not a piece of and I don't have any beef with Helen. And I would never write something like this. And I don't have a fucking burner account. But this starts on Reddit, and y'all are wild. Fucking wild. Literally, zoom in. For all those MMA pages that posted this for your clicks and views and are trashing me right now, and all of the people that are coming for me, on me, like, bro, all you gotta do is zoom in, and you can tell for yourself. You guys.
Top comments. Did Hill forget how he was taunting and blatantly disrespecting Pereira in the build-up to the fight? LOL. He's lucky Alex didn't do him like Izzy did Costa. Armin survived against Oliveira. Hill so insecure he turns to flaunting money to make himself feel better. Hill is such a narcissist. He's crying about Pereira's celebration when Hill disrespected the ish out of him in the pre-fight press conference with that corny stone chain. Bro is like Wilder after Fury ruined his career. Jamal Hill's the most unlikable fighter in the UFC. He may be a good fighter because he's competing at the highest level, but he has such a trash personality.